Hello there folks, Steve here, out for a little walk in the woods. Just thought I'd turn the camera on and do a video log, a vlog. I've been out a few times walking and made quite a few video blogs, but didn't upload any of them. It seemed by the time I got back home to the internet and started to upload, it just didn't fit anymore. I just felt like my mood was changed. The anger had gone. A lot of the videos were rants. I seem to have something to get off my chest. Anyway, I had a live broadcast show on Sunday that I did. Many of you saw that, and it's still an experiment, but I notice I'm starting to get the hang of things, starting to get used to just being myself on camera live. You know, this video logging, it's okay, I can start again. I can decide not to upload it, it's not really a risk. But when I take the risk on a live show to talk about something controversial, something that might upset people, and maybe even bring stress upon my own person, you know, it's a risk. But risks are always connected with trust, and that's one of the things that during the events on this channel, really, it's not a big special thing, but for me it's been a very small individual personal special thing to do this channel, to put videos up, to come out for making video logs in the woods, talking about my feelings, talking from me, talking to you, maybe talking to others through this medium. It's been a great opportunity, and like I say, there's been the risk of saying something that might hurt somebody or upset somebody, but generally my suspicion came true that most people are good people. In fact, all people are good deep down. I'm not going to say that any living thing is evil at all, you know, just maybe misdirected, maybe in discomfort, and the loss of reason just through stress, just through indoctrination, through hypnosis from television and all of this other stuff. You know, there's a lot going on in our society that could cause somebody to hate somebody else or to have a vengeance. But I think deep down the human does know somewhere, naturally, instinctively, what the difference is between television and reality. Reality is something that we share. You know, it's repeatable, it's the same thing applies to us all. There's a mutual understanding there. So even if I'm shouting and you maybe don't like to hear me shout, you know that you yourself may shout at times, and you maybe then realise how others feel. You realise how intimidating you can be to others, even when you don't realise it. And so this is like a mutual thing that we share, and that's why I knew, in a way, in the back of my heart, in the bottom of my heart, in the back of my mind, in the top of my spirit, that I could risk doing this channel. I could risk talking from my emotions, from my guts, from my enthusiasm, from my anger and rage, and express all of that emotions. And I knew that you folks would comprehend that. That has been a great achievement for me. I'd like to say a special thanks as well to those who've, you know, been with me on the channel since the beginning, you know, commenting, and subscribers, people who've been watching my stuff, and I think sometimes, you know, maybe I can get caught out by some comments. I do give things a lot of thought. That's why I call it a voice of reason in a world so strange, because my main aim on this channel isn't to earn any kind of revenue or to get any kind of popularity or to achieve anything other than to express my reason, to express what's going on in my mind, to try and make sense of this strange world, and to put it out there with conviction, because I stand up for my truth. I die for my truth, you know, and I question whether other people have just got to merely simple opinion that they would never stand up for, let alone die for. And so if anybody came across my words and saw that something wasn't reason, then there's always a chance for me to get that feedback, and to re-look at myself, to recognise what I'm doing, what I'm saying, and to find out if it's really reason or if it's just my opinion. But sometimes, you know, my opinions and the reasoning that I end up with is two different things, you know. It's my opinion, for example, that guns should have never been invented. It's my opinion that anybody who needs a weapon has got some kind of fear. But at the same time, if I use my reason, I can come up with a whole lot of different angles. For the fact is, you can't ban guns, you can't stop the invention of guns or any weapons. So the more we try and restrict something, the more power it gets. And so sometimes, like when we're looking for an absolute or an ideal, we need to find something that's reality. Otherwise it's just a wishful thinking. It's just something that's going to block our arguments. And if we come back and say something like, you know, if everybody was not greedy, you know, it's just an if everybody situation, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If everybody was happy, if everybody was enlightened, when everybody reaches the consciousness shift, all of these wishful thinking ideas, when in actual fact it's all around us. We've built a pretty fantastic world as it is, under the circumstances. Under the circumstances of living under an authoritarian state that decides through the aristocracy, through rulers, through leaders, through lawgivers, that gain a higher position in that society and profit and parasite off the people who work with their hands. You know, when we live in such a system as now, can't remember, I lost my thread. I bloody hate government. We live in a crazy world. It's a crazy world. We've been indoctrinated by those who have the power. It's obvious. The puppet masters are controlling our minds, pulling our strings, pulling the strings of society. And we need to change things. We need to change things, folks. You know it, I know it. And maybe we don't really know what there is to do, but the fear, passing around fear, ignoring each other, not accepting our differences, all of these things lead to more fear and more separation. And at the end of the day, all it leaves is everybody, every man for himself, together with their nanny government. You know, so every time you on your own have a problem, you have to go running to the government to save you. And one day you'll be the last man standing, and the government will be just a bunch of power crazy, hungry freaks that have just tripped out on cocaine and eaten too much and had too much madness in their high society lives. So, and I don't believe in a centralised power. I believe in an anarchy. You know, so I vote anarchy. I vote myself in anarchy. I am my own ruler, and that's what I share with you. That's what I try and share with you, is how I rule my life. And it's very, very easy in some ways, until you meet the normal people who come along and tell you that you can't. Tell you that, oh, you're not allowed this, you're not allowed that. Well, who allows me? What man on this planet has the capacity to allow me to do something that is anyway within the bounds of nature, within the bounds of man, within the bounds and realms of freedom? What man is higher of authority? The only way a man can have higher authority is through coercion and force. The only way the government can have any kind of power over us is through coercion and force. And there's not enough people working for the government to carry out that coercion and force, so they get us to do it to each other through indoctrination, through schooling, through television, through drugs, through manipulation. They make something illegal so you think that you're breaking the law, and then they make something else legal so that you think it's good for you. All of these types of twists in society just just lead us all fighting amongst ourselves. And so what we need is reason. We don't need opinions. We don't need indoctrinated arguments. You know, a lot of the arguments that come from people, I know the sources. I've seen it on TV, or I've read it in some spiritual magazine. There's so much in the spiritual movement at the moment that is quite sickly. You know, spiritual practices getting slightly warped. You know, like if you could take a Rubik's Cube and change 2 of the stickers, the thing will be impossible to do. That's what spirituality's done to the teachings. It's swapped the stickers, it's rigged to the game. It will not work. In fact, spirituality and religious teachings work perfectly at the moment when you stop them. It's when you follow laws and dogmas and rules without putting reason before those rules. If you're driving down the street only looking at the signs, not using observation and reason, if you're just following that white line of life, hoping that that'll give you enough limited liability so the government will protect your ass, then you're nothing more than a ward of the state, and that's what they want. They want you all fighting and crashing and arguing and killing, taking drugs and raping each other. They want that. And they've made you want it. They've glorified it in television films. And then there's the gender clash, you know, the way that women and men are indoctrinated separately to get false ideals and false characterizations of themselves. You know, women become not only sex objects but the moral high ground of love. Women are supposed to know what love means and communication, where men are always portrayed as the ones that you can kick in the balls and they should stand up like a man. Doesn't matter if you make a joke about a man. Ha 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 ha. Men are just joke figures anyway, whereas women are the epiphany of beauty, love, honesty and everything else. And when that's portrayed in television, and people want this family with a wife and kids, this typical thing that we even think's human nature. We even think it's human nature to stay with the same partner for an entire lifetime. It's a dream that's been planted there, and for some it may be a wonderful dream. I had the same dream. I can only blame 1 or 2 things why that dream didn't work for me. One is it was a dream that doesn't work for anybody because it's a dream. It's a television show, it's a romantic Hollywood movie. Find your perfect woman, have some children, get the wonderful house. It's a dream. Or it's not a dream and the government has messed it up for me. Society's messed it up for me. My friends have messed it up for me. The choice is mine and yours to decide. Is the love affair, is the lifelong soul partner love affair with a house and kids, is it just a dream? Or does society ruin it for you? So I've got 2 choices there. I can either fight the media for portraying such a bullshit image of life and romance and love since we're born, everybody following that doctrine. So is that the dream? Or does the government rip us to pieces? So I've got that either the media to choose or the government. That's why I'm here doing both. Here on this channel, voicing my reason. This isn't just an opinion. There's a lot of thought goes into this. The government and the media are controlling our minds. The problem's not guns or money or drugs or sex, or the problem's not greed, capitalism, production, productivity. The problem's not in rulers and leaders. The problem's in you. Just you. And me too. All of us, as individuals. The enemy within. Always that idea that we need to force others. Even me just making these videos may be portrayed that I'm trying to meddle with your life. I'm not. I'm on my own. I'm walking through the woods. I'm telling you what I expect from you mutually. I'm not hurting anybody. But I tell you, there are people who are hurting. Most of those are in power. They've got one thing that they look for: money. Now, money is not the root of all evil. Government is. Meddling with people's lives. Coercing people against their will to pay tax. That's just theft. You know, all the people that say to me that are supposedly friends or colleagues or people I meet in life justifying paying tax, when they're the ones that are voting for a government that comes to me with a gun at my head, forcing me to pay tax, for a military to go across to other countries and blow the shit out of little kids. Nice move, citizens. Nice vote. Nice vote of confidence in your politicians. Because like I said at the beginning, I'm an anarchist. Vote now for yourself, or you're voting for an army against me and my fellow man. There's going to be two groups left at the end of all this. There's going to be the one big group of joining people who want a group, who want the rule of law, who want governing, who want a nanny to make sure that nobody else does anything else that nobody else should want anybody else to do. I don't smoke, so therefore nobody else should smoke. I don't swear, so nobody else should swear. I don't, you know, the list goes on. So there's the one people there. And then there's the rest of us, the anarchists, the individualists, and we're not separated. We want to work together more than those bigoted system people that claim always that we need solidarity in government, we need to elect representatives, we need this, that, the other. We need. No, you need, not me. You know, and then there's those that say just keep out of my life. Companies can look after themselves without the restriction of governments. Governments don't know what the hell they're talking about. Governments are not specialists in anything other than extracting money and then redistributing it, and usually into their own pockets. So if you want to know why life's not working very well, then look in the mirror, look in the government, look at the television, look around you. And until you get a different mentality about government, then it'll always stay the same. The government will change its name, money will change its name. At the end of the day, you've still got a nanny. You've still got authority telling you what to do. You know, I had great parents, but I just loved the day that I left home. To get my own freedom, to be my own boss, my own ruler. Not have anybody tell me, you can't do that, you're not allowed to do that, you haven't got permission to do that. Have you got a license for that? Well, no, I've got the ability and the skill because I've trained myself. People like us, we train ourselves. We don't want a piece of paper from somebody who's lesser informed and lesser trained telling us what we can do. Everybody's getting insured for everything because of the fact nobody can do anything anymore. You know, we need insurance for everything, for health, for cars, for this, for that, the other. You know, we live a life of doom before it's even happened. The system works, law is the law. Well, no, actually, people make law. People should keep the justice. And if we only read such simple platforms as Wikipedia, you would find out the truth. This ain't no conspiracy. Read about rule of law. Read about our society. Read about what a democracy is, what a republic is, what an oligarchy is, what autonomy is, what anarchy is, what a monarchy is. Read about it. Don't just think for 1 minute that, oh, the Queen's got the power. Ha! Everybody, let's all moan for weeks on TV about how the Queen's got the power. Let's do an expose on the Queen about how the Queen's got the power. We ain't got a clue about what power the Queen has got. She probably hasn't got any of the powers that we'd like to use. Same as politicians, they ain't got a power. They're just wearing a persona. They're just wearing a uniform. All people in uniform are idiots these days. We all know it. Look at police. They put a uniform on and they expect us to act like children. And they're the nannies now. Roll change. I'm going to ask you questions. If you don't tell me, then I'm going to pull your trousers and spank your bottom. Because I'm a policeman. And then, you know, the women police in uniform are even worse. I'm afraid you do have to do that. I'm afraid it's, you know, they tip their head to one side. I'm afraid you do need a TV licence, even if you don't watch it. Yeah, you need a TV licence to brainwash yourself these days. Folks, watch Idiocracy. You'll find we're in there already. So there's a lovely coloured sky behind me. I'm going to wrap up this video. It's been a 21 minute sort of... I wanted to do a video log. And I suppose I've just gone into kind of a video political broadcast. Got it off my chest anyway. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for watching. And just think about it, folks. Just think about... just give anarchy a chance. Alright, cheerio.